Hello everyone! So this week on Fostar, the theme is bullying. And I think everyone has had some sort of experience with bullying, whether it be themselves, a friend, a family member, anything else. We've all gone through some sort of form of bullying, and it's not an easy thing to do. So this week I want to tell you about a little bit about my experiences with it, or my past experience with it. So this video is going to be a little bit different than the ones that we've done in the past, or that I've done in the past at least. So I hope you'll stick with it and hear my story. So my story starts, I suppose, in middle school. And those of you who don't know, as of right now, I'm a sophomore in high school. I'm 16. But this started I was 13-ish. And it started in early years in middle school, possibly 5th grade. But there was a girl who had gone to my school, and she was relatively new. But we were friends, you know. We got along really well. We had a lot in common. We had a lot in common, and we were really good friends. And then, we were around that age where we started, discovering school drama and boys. And, it started off just normal middle school drama. And then she changed, and she started to become, really controlling. And she was one of those people where if I wanted to be friends with her, I couldn't have any other friends. It was all her, all the time. And I didn't really get that. I didn't know that she was being controlling. I just thought it was just a part of friendship. And so I let her do that. I thought she was my best friend, and she wouldn't do anything to hurt me. So I dropped a lot of people. And it was hard, but I did it. It was friendship. That's what I told myself. I remember one day, we still had recess in middle school. So I remember one day I was just walking around the playground, and she was hanging out with one of my other friends, my old friends. And they came up to me on the playground, and they called me a name. They actually called me a whore. And keep in mind that we were in 6th or 7th grade. And I had only ever dated one person. And that person that I had dated for over a year. And then not long after that, I did get into another relationship, even though I was in middle school. But that relationship also lasted over a year. And I mean, one of those people that had called me a name was someone I had trusted, someone who had been my friend since kindergarten. So that really struck hard, that really hurt, and I didn't know how that could possibly be me they were talking about, but they were saying it straight to my face, so I didn't really understand. And back to how I said, this person was extremely controlling, and extremely well with kind of pulling you back in and making you think they were going to be trustworthy again. So within a few days, I was just right there, back at her side, best friends again. We were fine. She came over to my house all the time. We had sleepovers, and she'd tell me everything, but she'd talk a lot about other people behind their back, and she'd come to me and tell me. And a lot of those people were people I had been close to in the past. And I found out not long after that she was going behind my back, and this was in 6th grade. But it continued on for a really long time. She was going behind my back as well and telling a lot of my old friends that I talked about them and that I shouldn't be their friend because I wasn't worthy of friendship. I wasn't worthy of having anyone close to me. And she'd call me all these names, these rude things that I have these things I didn't even know, like, or understand. And, she'd do all these things, like, I remember one time, and this was stupid, and I know that now, but at the time, it's, like, really hard. She wrote this poem, stupid crap about me, and she read it in front of the whole class and the teacher just sat there and listened and pretty much didn't care. And that was in 7th grade. And I think 7th grade was where it started to get really bad and where she'd start to spread rumors about me and send me really terrible messages online and tell me that nobody liked me, that I didn't have friends, that one of my best friends was talking behind my back, and that was her best friend now, that she had taken that person from me and she knew what she was doing. She even messaged my mom at one point and yelled at my mom and called my mom names. And I still, because she was so controlling and so good at making herself seem like she was going to change, she'd do all these terrible things to you, and then she'd come right back around and she'd make you think she was going to change, and she didn't. And so in 7th grade, we had become really, really close again, and I know that day she was having a really rough day. I remember seeing her crying in the hallway. But before that, I had given her my sweatshirt because it was cold, and she was cold, so I had given it to her just, to borrow. Well, it came to be the end of the day, and I remember going up to her to ask for my sweatshirt back because my mom would kill me, figuratively, of course, but she would be really upset if I came home without my jacket, because I had a really bad habit of losing them. And I knew, even though she was my friend, I knew I would not be getting that hoodie back. And I loved that hoodie. That was one of my favorites. So when I asked for it back, she screamed at me. And I said I needed it back. And I went to grab it back from her, because she had just had it in her hands at that point. I went to grab it from her. And we were friends, so I thought she was just kidding, We were friends. I mess with my friends. I'll hit my friends on the shoulder, I was like, oh, I gently, cross, this general area, with my arm, I was just like, oh, just come on, give me my sweatshirt back, you know how my mom can be. She'll be upset. And she hit me just on the shoulder, and she pushed me back, and I said, you know what? And she said, you know what, fine, I don't care. And she started swearing at me, and she pushed me, and she threw my sweatshirt at me, hit me, and I just said, you know what, I'll let you calm down, it's okay. We don't need to worry about this right now. So I walked away, and as I'm walking away, I remember I was terrified when she did this. She grabbed my hair, and she yanked down hard from underneath. And my head on the way down, because she threw me down to the ground, hit a chair. So I had this big bruise, this big bump in the back of my head. And I remember just being terrified because she had me by my hair, and I was backwards. I couldn't do anything about it. I couldn't grab her. I've got short arms. I couldn't grab her. I couldn't do anything. I remember just trying to grab her arm, but I couldn't, and I felt like I couldn't breathe. And I remember looking up and seeing two people standing in the doorway. One of them was the friend from the past who had called me, that name. The other one was just another student. and I remember who it was, but I'm not gonna, name names. And I remember thinking, help, they weren't doing anything. She finally let go, and she called me a baby for crying, and screamed at me and called me all these names, and told me that I better not come back at her again. And I remember running into the hallway, crying because I still couldn't breathe. I couldn't catch my breath because I was in tears. I was panicked. And it had been about 10 minutes after school still. It was still a really long time after school. So I knew my mom was waiting for me. She's probably getting worried. And then I remember, because I was in 7th grade, the 8th graders had been walking past. And I knew quite a few of them. We were a small school, so everyone was relatively close. And I remember one girl, that I will say her name was Megan, came up to me and she hugged me and she asked me what was wrong, but I couldn't breathe. I couldn't catch my breath long enough to talk. And that was when my teacher came past, the 8th grade teacher. And he was still one of my teachers. He was my math teacher, and he came past, tried to ask me what was wrong, but I said her name, and that was all that I gotten out. And he just he looked at me and he nodded. And then my mom came up around the corner with that girl, who had been standing in the doorway, the same one who had called me that name, and they said that she had gone to get my mom, because in reality, everyone was kind of afraid of this person. She controlled a lot of people, and she had control over a lot of people, and she ruined a lot of friendships, a lot of different things. So for that person to would have came up to me to stop her would have just been bad for everyone. And yeah, I remember going home and brushing out my hair, and just chunks of hair just coming out, and going to look in the mirror and having scratches, and having the most massive headache I had ever had, and still to this day, the worst headache I've ever had in my entire life. And she continued to do stuff like that, just where she'd spread rumors about me, she'd bully me, she'd go out of her way to make sure that my middle school life was and I remember at the time, I was going through a really rough time where, I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't doing the things I was supposed to be doing. My grades dropped. It sucked. But a lot of that stemmed from her, and the way she was treating me. And it's something I'll never forget. And to you, this may not seem like it's not a big deal. But you don't know the extent of it. You don't know the things she said, the things she did, or how they affected me. And it's different for every single person who goes through it. So it was hard. It was. But I got through it. And I am in high school now. I'm a sophomore. So it's been about 3 or 4 years since I've seen her. She left halfway through 8th grade. And it doesn't affect me anymore. It's in the past. I don't care anymore. Do I still think about it? Yeah. I also would like to say coming to the end of this video, that if you are going through something with bullying, talk to someone. Really, it's really the best thing you can do is talk to someone about it, whether a friend, family member, a parent, a teacher, anyone who you can talk to would be an ideal situation, rather than just keeping it in like I did until it actually escalated to the point where I was getting hurt physically rather than just up here. So talk to someone about it. It could really help, and don't let it get to you. I know it sounds weird because it does get to you and it's hard to get past, but don't let it get to you. Smile, keep your head up, don't let it bother you. So recently we've been partnering with an organization, and they go by the name of the Bully Free Hope Group. And they're an awesome organization, and I really recommend you check them out. If you've ever had an experience with bullying or know someone who has, or just want to know more, go to their website. I will put the website in the links below, and just check them out, look through them a little bit, and get to know more. Inform yourself, no matter what your experience has been with bullying. Check them out. I really recommend it. And partnering with them so far has been amazing. I extremely look forward to everything we have with them, everything we're going to have with you guys as fans, and how far we've come so far even is just absolutely amazing. Couldn't have done it without you guys, without them, without anything that's happened so far. It's just been amazing. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that I decided to start this and that it's turned out as well as it has. I absolutely love the group. I love everything that's happened so far. And the fact that it's been about just over 2 weeks and we've already got 1,000 subscribers, over 1,000. When I looked, it's at 1,048. But that's just honestly, for me, that's amazing to have come that far in such a short amount of time. It's absolutely awesome. I love it. Love you guys. I hope you'll stay I hope you'll stay. Check out our other videos. Comment, like, subscribe, favorite. I really hope you enjoyed this video and that it maybe affected you in some way, I guess, and that you'll check out the Bully Free Hope group's website. It can really help you, and honestly, I wish it was something I had when I was younger. But I really hope you'll check it out. I really hope you'll stay for the rest of the videos. I know this isn't what we've been doing. It's a very different video than what we've recently been making. But I am glad I got the opportunity to make this video. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you'll stick around. And until next time, see you next Friday. Bye, guys.